In this section, we're going to be looking in a lot more detail at Swift 3, learning the basics of programming in Swift and starting to see how we can use the building blocks that we've already learned to build bigger, more powerful apps. Xcode includes a feature called Playgrounds, which allows us to run small snippets of code immediately without having to wait for the simulator to boot up every time. So that's a really great way to play around with bits of code, and we're going to be using Playgrounds in most of this section. So within Xcode, just go to File, New, Playground, and that will open up a new playground for you. I'll just use the default name, My Playground, and I'm going to save that right there on the desktop. And this is what Playgrounds look like. Pretty straightforward. We've got the now reasonably familiar Swift code, and we can edit the code on the left, and on the right here it will give you the value of any variables that have been created. So in this case we're creating a variable called str and setting it equal to hello playground. We're going to be looking at variables in a lot more detail in the next video. Finally, at the bottom of the playground here, there's a white area which is effectively the console. It's where we can display messages and view output. So here's your first mini playground challenge. Can you get the playground to print your name in the console? Go for it. All right, I hope you managed that. The clue was the keyword print there, which we saw a couple of videos ago. So we're just going to use print and then brackets and then in quotation marks, Rob for me. And there you go. So there's the output of Rob down in the console there. And you can see it's also printed that here for us. This \n there is short for a new line. And when you print something to the console, it automatically prints a new line. So if we print something else underneath it, you'll see that that's not printed next to it, it's printed underneath it. So it's Rob and then hello underneath. There we go. So that's what that \n is saying. It's just saying that it's a new line after the text that's been printed there. All right, so we're going to be using Playgrounds to get to grips with Swift 3 basics, starting with probably the most fundamental programming idea, that of the variable.